Welcome to Africa Express. Today we are going to Saugus. We be discussing women in business and women empowerment. As you know, these days a lot of women are going into business, various businesses for themselves. Some of them are working from home, and some of them actually establish their offices outside the home. We'll be taking a look at how these women do it and what motivates them. With us this evening to discuss this issue is Dala Girolamo, who is the CEO of Dependable Healthcare Services. Dala, you're welcome to Africa Express.
Thank you. Good evening.
You are a business owner, a woman business owner, of course. I think it's very commendable. It's good to see women, striking out and doing their own thing and trying to, running organizations. Yeah. What type of business are you into?
Dependable Healthcare Services actually is a home care company. We offer home care services to elderly persons in the comfort of their homes. By homes, could be assisted living facilities or their residents in communities, their houses in communities. And we do provide staffing for hospitals as well as we can provide for nursing homes as well, but we haven't done it recently. But it's just geared towards home care services for elderly persons.
So you provide, your company?
Yes.
Is a staffing company, basically.
It's a home care agency that also does staffing as well.
Right. To various healthcare facilities.
Yes.
You hire like nurses?
We do offer nursing services, home health aid services, homemaking services. We offer companion services. We offer transportation services. But again, these are all for elderly people.
Elderly people.
Yes.
It's a much needed service, actually.
Yes.
It's a much needed. So what you guys try to do is to keep the elderly within the homes if possible.
Right.
By providing services to them in the home.
Yes. I know years ago, elderly people were put in nursing homes. Not because they were necessarily unable to take care of themselves, but they didn't have the support they needed at the time. We do work with a lot of case managers, family members, as well as individuals, the elderly persons themselves, to make sure they can still remain in their houses for as long as they can, while the safety comes, they're safe, doctor's appointments are in place, and it's a great network. So it's good for them. And it provides a lot of work too for people out there.
Yes.
So,
how long have you been doing this?
The company was established in 2002, which makes it 8 years this past June. Yes.
Wow! Congratulations! Yes. So you've been in business for 8 years.
Just about, yes.
That's very good.
Over 8 years. Thank you.
What inspired you? What made you think of striking out on your own and starting your own business?
First of all, the main thing I would tell you was flexibility. I was, 10 years ago, I was going through a divorce. And I was a network engineer. I did all computer work. And I was a consultant. So what I did is I would do contracts maybe for 3-6 months at a time. And I would take maybe a month off, maybe 2 weeks off. And it was a very high-paying job, but it was very demanding. And as of the time I was going through my divorce, it was in 2000, 10 years ago, I have 4 little kids. At the time, my oldest was only 9 years of age, and the youngest was she was almost 3. And it was okay because I enjoyed going to work Monday through Friday. I came back home. That was it. I left my office. That was it. I was all set. I didn't have to worry about going back to work till Monday.
Right.
My check was always put in my account, direct deposit, and it felt good. I wasn't responsible for anything after my working hours, but I did not have the time I needed for my young children. I didn't. Even though my children went to school, and then after school, which was not very cheap, but I was fortunate to make enough money to be able to put them in those after-school programs at the time.
Right.
But it would hurt me greatly when I would come home on a day where they had a concert at school, and my daughter would say, "Oh, Mom, you missed it again." And it broke my heart. And I couldn't do a lot of things because when I was on call, as a consultant, I needed to be there. 9 to 5, I had to be there. And where I was supporting the network, if a server crashed at 5 o'clock, I couldn't leave. I had to make sure that server was up and running. My pager would go off constantly. And it was really difficult. And it hurt me.
And with 4 children,
yes,
that's not an easy task.
It hurt me because we would leave home in the morning. But it was just, when I would miss things that I had to be there for as a parent, I didn't like that. So, because I couldn't take time off all the time. So I had to rethink this, and I said, you know what, I like what I do as a consultant. I took time off when I had to take time off. But I wanted a job where I could be with my kids as well. You know, not every day, but when it was time to go see a show they had put so much effort into, I wanted to be there supporting my children and clapping for them.
Right.
But I had to rethink and say, okay, if I work, it was a big step. I had to really think about it and say, okay, you're going into something you haven't done before. You're so used to doing this, but it was what to try. I was willing to give it a shot, give it a try, and say, you know what, let me do it this way, and I'll see what happens.
That was quite a risk from engineering to healthcare.
Yes.
That's quite a shift.
It really was. It really was. But I had a couple of friends. I had 2 options. I knew I wanted to do something that would pay back, kind of, I want to say. I didn't want to open a store and buy inventory and say, well, I have $1,000 of inventory. I don't know when I'm going to make that money back. I wanted something that was fast. You give it, you put in, you come out, input and output.
Right.
You put in $10, if 5 cents is your gain, you walk away with it. You don't, tie money down unduly unless you're offering services. I wanted a business where we could offer services and then get something in return.
Right.
So my other option was, okay, you may be real estate or even a laundromat. Because I figured if you own a laundromat, and I kind of wanted to do it myself first. Because when you go into something new, you don't know what you're going for. You don't know what to expect. So you say, okay, well, it's just me. And I knew I was going to need staff later, but for the most part, I needed to be there to, put it up. And if it didn't work, it didn't work.
Since it's such a switch in career, did you go to a training for this?
No.
For it?
No, I
didn't. You just picked up and you
really
did research and you went with it?
I did. I didn't take any training personally, but I had taught school in the past. And the way they raise us in Nigeria, the kind of upbringing we have, it's always geared towards being a mother, an entrepreneur, a worker. And that helped me. It did help me.
That's very good. And at the end, at least you know that you were driving your own car.
I was able to go to my children's concerts Christmas time. I was able to go on field trips with them.
Yes.
And that was very, it was a good feeling. It made me feel good inside. Yes, it was a big risk, but at least that part of it was working out fine.
Indeed. Well, you are watching Afrik Express. We are talking about women and empowerment and women in business. And we've been talking with Dala, who actually started off an engineer, ended up in healthcare. Again, had to make some hard decisions to make this switch, especially being a mother of 4, and trying to be there for the children. Again, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will continue this discussion with Dala.